It is party time, Mom. It's Thursday. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. I'm over here laughing till I'm crying. That's what's going on. I've got the red eyes. The Puppet Master Mark, Chris Cruz, sitting there driving to the nether regions of all things insanity. Let me tell you something that happened yesterday that's just absolutely insane. I got Lisa Reynolds, my very good friend, my dear love, Lisa Reynolds, in the hot seat. I don't know if you saw my Instagram yesterday. This is why my eyes were so red in this Instagram video. I walked out of here and people were like, were you crying in that video? I was like, did you listen to it? I was laughing so hard that I was crying. I
need to see this now.
I went to go give a blood draw yesterday at a clinic. And I go bebopping in there, and, you know, the mask Nazis start passing out. You got to have a mask, got to have a mask. I was like, do I really? Do I really? And so there was this lady who was feeling so much pressure about not having a mask. She pulls a Kleenex out of her purse, and she's holding a Kleenex, like unfolded Kleenex in front of her nose like this. It's breathing. It's just flopping out like a drape in the wind. And then she's got to fill out forms, so she needs both hands. She takes her sunglasses out of her purse, puts them on, and tucks it in the corners where it's touching her skin. And then that's not working, so she takes the tissue, rips it in half, wads it up into little, you know, I call them nostril missiles, and she just shoves them up there like she's got a broken nose. So she just shoves it up her nose, and she's got this tissue wad sticking out of her face. She doesn't bother covering her mouth. And so when the lady came back out with a box of masks, she was like, yes, please. I was dying.
I would have been dying too, but why? Wait, why did she think that plugging her nose up would fix it? But why did she feel, did you put a mask on?
No, I wouldn't do it.
So she didn't have to?
I wouldn't do it. Yeah, again, they were like, it's mandatory. It's like, it's not mandatory. Like, you can't make me do this. This is not.
That's true.
We're not going into surgery here. I'm here to let you take my blood out of my body, right? We're not, you know, this is nowhere else, so I didn't do it.
There are still so many people that, like, I see walking through the halls of Congress or whatever, and they're like N95 masked up and like still double masking, and then they're looking at you like you're crazy for not having one. I don't understand why they don't get it. And like, are they that brainwashed? Is it? Are they stupid? I don't understand.
It brings out the mean part of me that says, you know, I kind of always suspected that people are stupid. Now the last 2 years have really kind of confirmed it. Again, and I hate when I make a joke or say something tongue-in-cheek, and I always feel the need to qualify it because, yes, I know some of you have some immunocompromised family member. The only problem is you didn't do that in 2018 or 19. I mean, I can remember back when we were doing, you know, my friend Bill Martin's cowboy charity, Cowboys Who Care. We'd do his charity where we would go to the hospitals and we would give cowboy hats to kids with cancer. That was hard. You want to talk about getting the eyes red?
Yes.
You go in there and you Resistol made these hats that had a special comfort band for their little sensitive heads, you know. And so me and you are going to have an emotional day.
We've already been having an emotional day. It's been an emotional day.
So we go in there and do that. And like there were some severe cases where you'd have to robe up, mask up, the whole thing. I get that, right? Because their immune systems are so compromised. Well, that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about somebody that just walked out of the Luby's from the buffet, weighs 300 pounds, gives zero shits about their health, obviously, and they're going to talk about, oh, I'm immunocompromised. Maybe drink some water.
Did you ever look at, like, okay, so say it's about, what, 20% of the population still, like, masked up and stuff. You're not in D.C., so you don't know, but, like, it's about that.
D.C.'s bad, I get it, yeah.
Right, but it like, directly correlates with his approval rating. Like, the idiots that still approve of him, it's like 20%, right? They're the idiots still wearing the mask.
They're the ones who are doing it.
That delusional.
I had somebody, we have a new shirt that we put out that says 8646, right? So get rid of Biden is what it says. Like, you know, restaurant terms, throw it away.
Yep.
I have had people who said, oh, you're calling for assassination.
Oh, God.
Are you stupid? I mean, come on.
It means we're out of this.
Have you ever 86'd undercooked? I mean, have you ever assassinated undercooked chicken?
Jesus.
You know, no, you just throw it out, right? So anyway, I had somebody who said, oh, yeah, you can't come up with an original idea. And I looked at them, and they had a Ukraine flag for a profile picture.
I can't.
Like, you're going to accuse me of being unoriginal. Anyway, this is a very phallic show. We did the whole show yesterday with Matt Kibbe with this missile right here. I don't even know if people could tell that that's what it is. This is a Ukrainian missile that's sitting. I'm pointing my foot at it, my tennis-shoed foot right there.
I just want the shield.
Well, the shield is from the Ukraine as well. This is the kind of crap that Glenn Beck keeps in his closet.
But when and where did you get this? Like when?
It's Glenn's.
From when?
I don't.
Like this week?
It just shows up in here. Chris goes and gets this stuff. But this is Glenn's.
My favorite is the Barney tree. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's my favorite weird thing
Barney
in here.
tree's starting to wilt. It looks looking unhealthy. Like it's had too many years on it.
Like that was the worst show ever. And now we have a Barney tree.
Well, this is where they filmed Barney.
Still weird.
Well, so for those of you who are watching, I think you know this. I don't want to assume this is old Paramount Studios where we film here. So they filmed RoboCop and JFK and Air Force One, Walker, Texas Ranger, Prison Break. RoboCop was filmed exclusively here, the first one with Peter Weller, with the exception of like one scene. The entire thing was done here. And then they did Barney. All except for the first season was filmed here in this building. So the tree that's on set is sitting out there on rollers. It's so Glenn just has stuff. The V for Vendetta mask, the Guy Fawkes mask from the movie, is sitting over there in the glass. Is that the actual one from the movie? Do you know, Chris? Yeah. That's the one from the.
I have to take a picture of that. My kids actually know like the Guy Fawkes poem, like the.
Yeah. Well, it's sitting there. If you walk by Glenn's office right there, you could see the Guy Fawkes mask sitting there. You know, that's Lucille Ball's dress out there with her makeup mirror. I mean, she's a very diminutive woman if that's the size of the dress.
I do like the flying monkey costume from the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, you got the flying monkeys, you got the spear, you got one of the pairs of the ruby slippers, you got one of Judy Garland's dresses out here, you got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
It's very interesting.
Coming here is a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing. Well, we're sitting here with an inert missile.
I do want to take the shield, though. Like, let's take the shield and pretend like it's our mask and just run in everybody.
Oh, well, I'll pick it up.
Do that instead of a mask. Be like, I'm putting my shield up.
When we come back in,
it's as effective.
No, our buddy Dave Rubin's going to join us in the next segment. So maybe in a later segment, I'll heft the shield. I'll heft the shield. I'll fight off Dave Rubin's advances towards me.
Dave Rubin's cute. You could do worse. You could do worse.
Dave Rubin's a good-looking man.
You could do worse.
Sarah Gonzalez and I have talked about this many, many times. Dave Rubin's a good-looking man. And I don't float that way, but that's a good-looking man. And he obviously knows what to do, so there's two things going for him. Hey, he's got a new book out called Don't Burn This Country. It follows up his last bestseller, Don't Burn This Book, which was fantastic. And he wrote me a very sweet note. He actually sent me 2 books. He wrote a note in both of them. Very sweet of Dave, and I appreciate him so much because some of these guys, they're a big deal. They're a big deal. I'm not a big deal.
They are a big deal.
And they write those little notes in there, and they take the time because they are friends. And he said we're unlikely friends, and I thought that's interesting. I mentioned that yesterday on the show to Matt Kibbe, and Matt Kibbe said, well, sometimes your likely friends are the ones that screw you over.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah. Oh, that's a little rough. Unlikely friends? What's that mean?
Well, we come from very different backgrounds.
I'm a little sensitive.
Very different backgrounds. I can appreciate where he's coming from.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he needs a cowboy hat. I'm glad you're here. First of all, how are you doing? I shouldn't ask that question, should I? You're an emotional train wreck. You got all kind of things going on in your life.
Thanks, Jen. Put all my business out there.
I want to be like Oprah here. I want to be here for you, Lisa.
Let's not say we did. Jesus.
So what I want to do is I want to get into the attacks that come my way. They're not really attacks, but people say the stuff you're saying on the show is not really happening. Like there's no teachers out there really grooming kids.
Oh my God.
And again, I want to say I'm on the side of teachers overall, but the educational profession is getting slammed by a system that's not in your court. They're not in your favor. So I'm fighting for you here. I'm trying to expose today's spot that is tomorrow's rot, if you will.
But they are indoctrinated. They don't even know it though. Like this has been happening.
They don't. Many of them don't.
The 1960s.
Yeah.
Like it's in the Communist Manifesto. It says that to destroy capitalism, you have to destroy the family, and they say specifically through gender and through race. That's what it says in there. And the way to do that is to undermine the school systems because they don't reproduce like we do. So that's the thing.
Have you ever read the book or looked through the book, The Babylon Bee's Guide to Wokeism?
No, I didn't.
It's fantastic. I bought like a dozen copies. I've still got a couple. I bought 6 more. I need to bring you one or send you one. It's fantastic. I was looking through that yesterday because I'm writing a song. CJ and I are writing a song called We Can't Date. And it's about you know, you have all these woke ideologies. Your mother may think you're great, but we can't date. And so it's kind of a funny song. So I was looking for verbiage in that book, and they got a whole chapter on how the education system, they take it from a satirical view, but how the educational system is designed to separate the child from the parent.
It is.
And so these teachers, and I know you're smart. I know you're smart. And listen, my oldest daughter, she's an educator. She's a teacher. I get it. You're smart people. But the system's built for you to not succeed. It really is. So here's one. Filipovich. I never can say her name. Jill Filipovich. I don't say her name a lot, so I can't say that I never. She did some tweeting. April 12th, she said more mothers, well, first of all, she said stay-at-home mothers are psychologically and emotionally worse off than working mothers by just about every measure, from depression to anxiety to anger. They're much more likely than working mothers to say that they are struggling and less likely to say that they are thriving.
Where's she getting this information?
I don't believe that at all.
I don't believe that at all.
And listen, I'm gonna do a whole study here soon on another episode and just talk about how men and women. I keep talking about how we need real men. We need real women.
100% real men and real women, because women aren't real women either.
No.
Like, women are destroying themselves.
You and I are on the same page there.
Facts.
We're anti.
I
militant feminist. The militant feminism movement is not true femininity. It's not. I believe that we've gotten things out of order. I believe that women who have the ability to stay at home, to raise their children, to be loved, protected, provided for, are sheltered in a way. Yeah, you say, whatever, call me what you want to say. I'm done. Yeah, well, listen, we've already seen your system. Your system's shit, okay? We've already seen it. It sucks. It's in the cesspool of history. We've already seen it. So maybe we go back to some of these historical values that are out there that say, you know what? Women do better in an environment where there is a man to take care of them. There is a home that they can take care of.
There is no such thing as a woman, though. There's no such thing as a woman, right? So there is no such thing as a woman. So how are they even defining that, right? So if they're doing studies on women, like, really? Who?
I've never met a real woman. I've never met a real woman that didn't want to feel secure.
That's the first thing that they want.
I never met a woman that didn't want to be protected.
It's actually biological, right? Like, women, because we have a limited number of eggs, right? We value resources.
Yeah.
Where men
come on with it. That's right.
Go out and do whatever they want. Like, that's kind of what happens.
You know, Andrew Schwartz has a comedy bit out there. It's hilarious. He's like, boy, women really played the long game on this equality thing. He was like, because when we were out there fighting bears and lions and getting cut in half by the gladiators, they were out there going, yeah, y'all go do your thing. We're going to stay at home. But as soon as they got air conditioning in the office buildings, they were like, equality.
There's so true, though. There's something to be said, though, like, why don't you want to stay home with your children? Like, where is that genetic nurturing component to your life?
That's right.
That should be your ultimate priority. That's your children.
Right. It's a mess. I don't know. I'm so frustrated with so many of these different things. People, and you come at me. I'm gonna do a whole thing. I'm gonna expose the whole deal. I like
this, Chad. Keep going.
Because Jill Filipovich, she said more mothers at home makes for worse, more sexist men who see women as mommies and helpmeets. Men with stay-at-home wives are more sexist than men with working wives. They don't assess women's workplace contributions fairly, and they're less likely to hire and promote women. She said, also, just give people a little extra money when they have babies and don't consign people to living in poverty. Several European countries have child payments, and that makes sense.
You know, I'm actually weird about maternity leave. I don't think that it's fair. Right? Like, I don't think that, so you get to take off, you decide to have a child, you decide to work, you take off 3 months and you get paid for it, right? And everybody else has to, like, chip in and do your work.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid to not do anything, and that should be mandatory?
Yeah.
I think it's BS. That's what I think.
Well, I'm going to take a break. And wait, let me just do it right now.
Sorry.
And I think we got our ads mixed up, Chris, between we good? We just do it? I know you're the master at this. That's why you're super Chris Cruz. But the way that ties back in is if you vilify the woman that wants to stay at home, then what you do is you exalt positions like the educator who now has to step in and do the job. That's what I keep hearing over and over again. These teachers who are going, well, we have to do the job that's not being done at home.
Do you know what they also say though? Don't you know it's creepy? They're always like, my kids. They're not your kids.
They're not your kids.
Students. They're not your kids.
Yeah, I understand the sentiment, but they're not your kids.
They're not your kids, but they think they are.
And so you look at Jill Filipovich, who says these things and says, oh, well, these stay-at-home moms, they're really just oppressed with sexist husbands and all these kind of things. And then the teachers are going to have to come out there and say, well, I have to take up the void for what's not being taught at home. Well, which is it going to be? I think my point's being made.
I agree.
Anyway, friends, I hate to say it, but we have some very unpleasant days ahead. Now, let me ask you, do you have enough long-term food storage on hand? If not, I urge you to go to preparewithchad.com, stock up on emergency food from My Patriot Supply. You need food security above all else, and My Patriot Supply is the largest preparedness company in America with over 50,000 4-star and 5-star reviews. Right now, you can save $150 on their 3-month emergency food kit that gives you breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks for 3 months per person. Go to preparewithchad.com. You'll see my ugly mug on the homepage. Claim $150 savings per kit. Your order will arrive in unmarked boxes for your privacy. You know, I put it to the test, Chris, the other day. I ordered some for my mother. Yeah. Less than a week it got there. Less than a week. Go to preparewithchad.com right now. Save $150 off each 3-month emergency food kit order. Don't be a victim. Go to preparewithchad.com right now. Be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. As always, we love to give credit where it's due and just love on our Blaze family. And so I'm happy to welcome to the program my good friend Dave Rubin. Dave, good to see you, buddy. How's everything going in your world, man?
Chad, I'm busy. Things are a little nutty, but they said, Chad wants you on the show. I said, guys, clear out the day.
That's the way
I canceled everything. You know, I was going to do Tucker tonight. They wanted me on the Today Show this morning, Tonight Show tonight. Guys, nothing. No. You shut it down. I need to focus. Good to be with you, man.
F. George Stephanopoulos. That's all I got to say right there.
Well, I wake up and say that, so that's all right.
Well, it's good to see you, man. Dave, of course, is the creator, founder, and the host of the Rubin Report, and just a great person and friend and member of the. I love the way you wrote a note in the book you sent me. It said, "We're unlikely friends." I love that. I love that. And I was talking to Matt Kibbe. I told him that, and he said, you know, it's the likely friends you got to be wary of. The unlikely ones will stick with you.
Oh, Kibbe, we got to give credit where credit is due. That is a good line. Look, you know, it's kind of funny in a way. When I was writing that to you, you know, you in the last couple of weeks, I announced this thing about having kids, and you immediately threw a tweet out there, you know, saying that we're friends and you're not on this earth to judge me, something to that effect. And that's how I feel about my friends too. And the unlikely part, I suppose, is only because you know, I'm born and bred from New York, and then only lived in New York and L.A. until I moved to Free Florida. Yeah. And you know, you're down there in Texas with a cowboy hat. But everything else, I think, or not everything, but 90% of the stuff that you and I care about is the same stuff. And I'm much more interested in finding people that maybe we got that 10% difference, but who cares? Who cares? I really mean that. That's what people have to learn to get over, because we can fix this thing, and we have much bigger problems. Chad, if the difference between you and I is a problem, then we are seriously screwed, because there is a freaking movement that will gladly throw us both in the gulag together. So we may as well figure it out now, because we could be in that same small, you know, it's usually a small room, bad lighting. Yeah. We could be stuck in there for a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, just know I love and appreciate you and all your contributions that you make to just freedom and free speech. And his book, Don't Burn This Book, was a bestseller, and I believe this one's going to be the same one. This is the follow-up, Don't Burn This Country. Just scanning through this thing after I received it, I'm so excited to dive into this. Dave, you're one of those guys, again, that I want to know what you're thinking, right? So that's always one of those deals that's just an honor to me to be able to crawl into your brain a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, look, the book is designed very clearly because when I wrote Don't Burn This Book, which was my first book, it was to lay out the ideas that I believe are the best ideas to free us. And in essence, these are classically liberal principles, which I know liberal sounds like a scary word, but it's what the founders intended. The ideas of the individual, laissez-faire economics, small government, federalism, states' rights, things like that. Which have nothing to do with liberalism in 2022, but those are truly old school classical liberal principles that are far more, let's say, conservative in a modern context than liberal. But that's sort of a separate thing without getting too lost on the words. So I laid that out in the first book, but then what happened over the last 2 years, obviously, and then it was really sort of injected with the COVID thing, is that the march of authoritarianism, of top-down government, of mandates and control and draconian laws and all of this stuff, it just kept coming and coming. So as I was locked in my house, quite literally in LA where nobody could go out, although I was having illegal parties, I said I should write a book about how we fight this thing. Now, I didn't know that, it takes a long time to publish a book, as you know. I didn't know that by the time the book would come out, that the world would still be as screwy as it is. I mean, just in the last day or so, Philly is now bringing back mask mandates, absolute insanity. The FAA announced this morning they're extending the airline stuff. I mean, it's just sheer BS. But this book really is about, well, what do you do? If we accept that the woke are here, if we accept that our institutions are crumbling, if we accept that our politicians are doing everything that they're not supposed to do, if you accept all of that, well, then how do you get some power back in your own life? And as the subtitle says, not just to survive, but to thrive. And I think there are ways to do it, and that's really why I wrote this.
Yeah, you refer to it as a woke dystopia. This brave new world that Aldous Huxley so prophetically predicted is kind of here now. We're seeing that played out in our economics. We're seeing it played out in our politics, where ideologies are now becoming policy. We have the crazies, I say, the asylums are empty. They're not only running the street, but they're sitting in office, right? So it's an insane world we're living in. Those of us that have some form of, we believe at least, some complexity of thought and some common sense are looking at it, scratching our head, going, what do we do? I think that's the question. And I ask you, what do we do?
So that's really what the book is about. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. First off, we have to really separate from these people. If you believe that the institutions are infected, if you believe that the educational institutions are infected, the cultural institutions, the corporations, then you need to stop giving them your time, your money, your resources, and your attention. So 2 examples I'll give you real quick is stop sending your kids to four-year schools. You've got 4 kids that are coming up on college age to one degree or another. Is the best idea that you should now go into $100,000 debt or put that debt on them so that they can get a degree in lesbian architecture and then have no skills and no ability to do anything, and then be in debt when they're just supposed to get their life going? Or would a better thing be, hey, there's a lot you got to learn about the world, but maybe I could give you, I don't know, 5, 10 grand. You could travel a little bit. You could learn a lot from YouTube lectures. You could listen to some Jordan Peterson lectures. You might learn a little something about getting your life in order. You could watch Glenn Beck videos on the founding of America and have a much better understanding about what our founding principles are and not get into all of that debt. Those schools, the entire system, there's almost none. There are a few good schools. Hillsdale's up there. There's Liberty University. There's a couple. But they are so infected that we must stop paying attention to them. We must accept that they are infected. And for example, when I hire here, we're still hiring for my production company now. If somebody sent me a resume and that resume said Harvard or Stanford on it, there is no freaking way I'd hire them. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that. To me, that would mean they have been infected with some of the worst ideas and been around some of the worst people possible. Yeah. If now show me a kid who dropped out of school, who actually, knows what he thinks and why he thinks it, and he tells me, I actually woke up and I read Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, and I'm taking good care of myself and I want to work hard. Well, now we got something. And that actually happened. I go into the story in the book. That happened with one of my interns. He was a great kid. We pay all our interns. I said to him, hey, why don't you drop out of school and take a job with me? He said, Dave, no, I want to stick in school and see what happens. And then I didn't get this part in the book because then we published the book. But now he works for me. He called me about 6 months later and he said, Dave, I've had it. I don't want to do this. The Zoom stuff is all BS and I'm not learning anything here. Does that offer for the job still stand? He lived in LA. He moved to Florida. He's got his first apartment and a good salary and benefits and all that. So separating from them is one thing. And then the real thing, which is the driver of the book, is we got to build new things. We need a completely new economy. We need to separate from them. Don't think that Disney is coming back. We need better stories, but not just entertainment and that kind of stuff. We need plumbers. I don't want to bring in a woke plumber into my house. I kid you not. We need everything. And if we can figure out how to harness some human ingenuity, which is the thing that drives everything, we can beat these guys, because this is not the best of the best that they're sending us. They're scaring us, but this ain't the best of the best.
There's a joke in there somewhere about having an environmentalist plumber. I got to think on that one. I don't know if you want him to be an environmentalist or how green you want him to be. There's some jokes in there.
There's definitely something there. There's definitely something there.
I want, what's the quickest, easiest way for folks to get a hold of the book?
Well, as of yesterday, it is everywhere, but you can go to daverubin.com/book, and we've got all the links there. Amazon is obviously the easiest way, but I'm trying to drive people to their local bookstores, actually go to a brick and mortar and pick up a copy of the book. We've got the audiobook as well, which I read myself, so it's fun and funny, and I tried to give it as much personality as possible. But wherever books are sold, as they say in the biz.
Yeah, and doing an audiobook, trust me, I know. I've done that. That is hard work, doing the audiobook. So,
isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? Because you read the line that you had just written down, and you're like, this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Then you read some, and you're like, should have done that a little differently. But when you get the good one, that's a nice feeling.
Yeah, in my last book, the last sentence of the entire book makes no sense. That's fun. That's fun when you see that. You're going to get back out on the road, though, right? You're going to be doing some live stuff.
That's right. Starting Tuesday the 19th, I'm at West Palm with Don Jr. So every show that I'm doing, I'm bringing on a special guest.
Great.
And we've got your man Glenn Beck will be joining me April 24th at the Majestic Theater in Dallas. I hear a rumor that you might be there.
I'm coming.
That's the rumor I'm here. That's what I'm hearing around town.
I'm clearing the calendar. I'm coming.
There you go. So Dennis Prager will be joining me in Brea, and Larry Elder will be joining me in Oxnard, and just a whole crew of people. And I'm going to do a different show every night, mess with the crowd, throw some stuff out. We'll do Q&A. I'll give a little bit of a lecture. But I want to get back out there, man. When my first book came out, it was COVID. I had no book tour. We canceled. I was going to do an international situation, Europe and Australia and Canada. So it'll be just good to get back out there with the people.
Yeah. Dave Rubin, you're smart. You're funny. I love you, buddy. Thanks for the book. Thanks for the kind words that you wrote inside of it. Don't burn this book, Surviving and Thriving in Our Woke Dystopia. Get it where books are offered. Use the brick and mortar, but visit daverubin.com. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Chad. Good seeing you, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
You too. Take care. Hey, you know me, I'm skeptical by nature, so when I first heard about home title theft, I was like, is this even real? I mean, can some cyber criminal really forge my name off the title of my home, take over as the new owner? Well, it turns out, yeah, he can. Real estate crimes and losses are rare, right? Well, wrong. According to the FBI, this crime is growing faster than credit card fraud, and you're not covered by homeowners insurance or common identity theft programs. Home Title Lock. They earned my trust. Home Title Lock puts a barrier around your home's title. The instant they detect anyone tampering with your home's title, they mobilize to help shut it down. So here's what I urge you to do. Number one, go to HometitleLock.com, read the testimonials from the FBI agents and government officials. Number two, register your home address to see if you're already a victim and don't even know it. And when you protect your home, tell them Chad sent you to get my listener discount. HometitleLock.com. That's HometitleLock.com. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Get the book. Hey, folks, in case the left's plan for your kids hasn't become clear enough to you yet, I want you to come with me on a short little round trip journey from here to New Jersey and back again. Woo! Aren't you excited? Now, for just a moment before we begin, I'd like you to put on your academic writer's hat and tell me this. If you were going to be writing the new student learning standards in the field of comprehensive health and physical education for a bunch of second graders, what do you think you'd be putting in the curriculum? Now, a few things immediately spring to my mind. Some very basic anatomy and hygiene makes sense. The importance of regularly bathing, brushing one's teeth, and perchance not filling up on boogers before mealtime, the basic stuff. Well, what if I told you that in New Jersey, their Board of Education is deemed necessary for second graders to learn gender role stereotypes and their potential impact on self and others? How about to differentiate between sexual orientation and gender identity and understand the, quote, Influences of peers, family, media, social norms, and culture on the expression of gender, sexual orientation, and identity. I can feel some of you spitting mad right now through the TV, but just wait, it gets better. These new guidelines also call for kids to learn about pregnancy testing, the signs of pregnancy, and pregnancy options, including parenting, abortion, and adoption. Now, I'm quoting all this so far, and I'll pause to note that they sandwiched baby murder between parenting and adoption. You know, just that cute little third option there, nothing to worry about. By the time these kids leave second grade, they're going to be able to list medically accurate names for body parts, including the genitals. That's a quote. Oh, and they throw climate change in there for good measure, too. Yeah, kids will be instructed on how climate change affects the health of individuals, plants, and animals. Now, that was quote heavy, but I wanted to be really precise because, you know, you guys think I'm lying to you. I want to level my answer to a recent National Review article which challenges those of us on the right for using the word groomer to describe these people. I'm sorry, National Review, but this isn't the time for sitting on our hands. They point out in the article that the Florida Parental Rights Bill was passed without the use of hyperbolic language, and I agree. Don't say gay is hyperbolic language, though, National Review. Calling people who are grooming the next generation of kids to look at the world through the most magnified pair of woke lenses you can imagine, calling those people groomers, that's not hyperbole. Now, I promised this was a round-trip expedition, so let's bring it on back home for a moment. Here in Irving, Texas, right here where I'm sitting, a teacher who is a faculty sponsor of MacArthur High School's Gay Straight Alliance is facing a possible firing over compliance issues with the school's rules about pride stickers and flags. Now, I want to make something abundantly clear. If you're teaching kids the things they're supposed to be taught at school and you're not dragging any of your own personal wokeness into it, I don't care who you are. I don't hate gay people. I don't even hate gay teachers. I love everybody. But there's a difference between accepting a person and embracing the way he or she sees the world. And the left has blurred the line between the two to the point that there almost is no line anymore. Now, if you live in Texas, please know that this is bullshit and it's on its way. Hell, it's already here. We just haven't sunk quite as deep into the mud pit as New Jersey. But mark my words that we will. Now, Greg Abbott, you're going to step up to this situation and take action, aren't you? Aren't you? How about you, parents? At what point are you finally going to wake up and get your kids out of this disastrous school system? How long until it's too late? Everybody they want to come at me, Lisa.
New Jersey comes up, and then remember I called it like the armpit of America, and I got some heat for it, but
it really, I mean,
it's really tragic over there.
It's really bad. You know, look. Transgender teacher tells kindergartners when babies are born, doctors guess if they're boys or girls. That was a viral video that's been out this week. Yeah, but sometimes he said the doctor is wrong. The doctors guess if they're boys or girl. Now, when I had my babies, I didn't have them. My wife had them. Mm-hmm. When she had them babies, I went to every OBGYN appointment she had. Every single one of them.
That's
never missed one.
Of you.
Never ever missed a single OBGYN appointment with any of my biological children, my 4 kids. I wanted to see the lub-dub of the heart through the ultrasound. I wanted to be there. I figured I was the one that knocked her up. I should be there.
It's your child.
I got her into this mess.
In there. And that's another. They don't think it's a baby either. But
right. I was having the baby too. And we wanted to know the gender. Whenever you could, we wanted to know the gender. So it was always, are they having a hot dog or a cheeseburger? Right?
That's right.
So you knew if there was a straight. So now,
or the 3 lines.
Let me give you guys an anatomy lesson right here. Okay. Let me give you guys a little anatomy.
I wish I brought mine.
Right here. This is Biscuit. Say hi, Biscuit. Yeah.
How funny
say
would it be
hi,
if we had
Biscuit.
Charlie here? We could show you.
Now, I gave Biscuit a gender-neutral name because I don't know what Biscuit wants to come out as. All right.
Oh my God.
Now, when it comes to the sex of Biscuit, I can actually look and say, it's a cheeseburger.
Oh my God.
Look at there. Look, kids. If they can do it in school, we can do it on the Chad Prather Show at the Blaze. I'll put it right there in the spotlight. It's a cheeseburger.
I don't even know what to say right now.
That's not a hot dog. It's a cheeseburger. You're a little girl.
You are.
I didn't have to guess. I don't have to have a medical degree. I didn't deliver you.
You're not a biologist?
Not a biologist.
You're wrong. You're not a biologist.
Now,
who knows?
Now, what her gender is, I don't know. She's got 417 different versions of gender that she can choose from. So I named her Biscuit. I figured that was inclusive enough that she could be whatever she wanted to be. But it's not a guessing game.
Do not pretend to buy into this. Don't do it. It's not even funny. It's not funny. It's so sick. It's not funny.
Well, the problem is this is what people are doing, right? It's so for a kindergarten teacher who's transgender to tell kindergartens, Biscuit's back out. I've been doing the show all week long. Biscuit's just right here. Nobody even knows. I'm just going to pull Biscuit out when I need an anatomy lesson. But this transgender teacher, he did like a identity share thing on a Zoom session with elementary age kids, and
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, it said something that's really cool and unique about who I am is I'm transgender. So when babies are born, the doctor looks at them and they make a guess about whether the baby is a boy or a girl based on what they look like. Most of the time, the guess is 100% correct. There are no issues whatsoever, but sometimes the doctor is wrong. The doctor makes an incorrect guess. The doctor makes a correct guess. That's when a person is called cisgender. When a doctor's guess is wrong, that's when they're called transgender. And it goes on to talk about he's a man, but when he was a baby, the doctor said he was a girl.
They're mentally ill. They're not transgender. They're mentally ill.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. And so he went on to say, this one person said, this one teacher said, I talk to my students about what it means to be trans all the time.
That's problematic. Like that, my second grader does not even have any idea. Like she still thinks like getting married is yucky and like boys should play by themselves.
They get cooties.
She's mad that we got a boy dog and not a girl dog. Like they don't know any of this. They're not even. It's not even like puberty age. Like they don't understand these complex issues anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they got cooties. You don't want anything to do with those boys, those nasty boys and those nasty girls.
I'm starting to get enraged. It's like I want to take my day out on people anymore. Like I'm getting enraged at these people. Something else needs to be done. Like we need like an army of families to go and like stop these people.
Yeah. 100%. That's what I'm saying. It's happening. Folks don't want to believe it. Going to go to a break. Before we do, how old does your mirror say you are? Ladies and gentlemen, you can delay this question for 5, 10, or even 15 years with the new Ultra Retinol Serum from Genucell. You look good, Lisa.
Thanks.
You always look good. You don't look like your age.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for 65, you look fantastic.
Oh my God, I'm going to smack you. See, Chad wants me to take my day out on him.
I know, right? We're just rearranging your rage. Marina from Fort Lauderdale, Florida said, great product. My skin loves it. I've spent so much money on creams over the years, enough to pay off my house. Just kidding, but it feels like that product has changed my life like no other. Marina is flying high with Genucell's new Ultra Retinol Serum with hyaluronic acid. This technological wonder hydrates your skin at a cellular level and builds on this deep moisture with the incredible anti-wrinkle effects of phytoretinol. Go to Genucell.com/WatchChad now for up to 50% off the brand new Ultra Retinol Serum. You will be amazed with the results or your money back. You'll also get Genucell immediate effects for results in 12 hours or less free with your order. Go to Genucell.com/WatchChad. That's Genucell, Genucell.com/WatchChad. For free express shipping, free returns, exquisite customer service. Genucell.com/WatchChad. Be right back. So yesterday we showed you a TikTok of a teacher who said, if your parents don't love and accept you, F your parents. I'm your parent now. This was a teacher, pro-LGBTQ 8th grade teacher. I think it was a he, has decided to resign. Good. Should have been fired. Listen, if you watch this show, you see plenty of TikToks that we show you from these teachers doing all this stuff. So, again, I love it when people come at me on Twitter and like, this is not happening. I use the word groomer. Remember when they used to use this logic? They would say, conservatives are racists. I said, no, we're not. Well, the fact that you say you're not, you must be.
Same thing.
Why is words triggering you? You must be a racist. Well, why is the word groomer triggering you so much?
Right.
Right? So that's why I keep saying, on my side, no, I'm sorry, you're a pedophile. Oh, you're a pedophile. If nothing else, you enable them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's already guys out there like doing videos about saying how like he doesn't think it's wrong, like academic people saying they don't think it's wrong to have sex with 14-year-olds or 12-year-olds. It's like, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that if it's consensual. This is they've been planning this forever. They're finally being bold about it.
Wisconsin High School closes out its Fine Arts Week with a drag performance by its very own French teacher. How about that? Isn't that what you need at a high school, is a drag performance?
This is the other thing, too. Like, what is the percentage of transgender people in the population, right?
They don't even
minimal, minuscule, right?
Maybe
1%?
1%.
Why is it everywhere? Why is it like ubiquitous? It's everywhere you go. You would think that it was like that it was 50% of the population.
That's the grooming process.
Correct.
They're trying to make it sound like it's a far bigger thing.
They don't want to feel weird.
Yeah.
So they want other people to do the same thing as they are. And so they're trying to convert people to be like them. Well, we don't want to be like you, and we don't want our children to be like you.
Right. I like my hot dog.
I like that you have your own hot dog.
Did you say move on? Move on. Don't groom me.
He's grooming me. That's what's really happening here.
Don't you groom me, Chris Cruz. Warner Brothers admits to cutting gay dialogue out of latest Fantastic Beasts movie to appease the Chinese censor. Of course they did.
Yeah, but it's fine, right? Like, it's fine if China does it. Nobody cares. It's just us.
Well, they know where the money comes from. It's coming from China. It's coming from the backers. That's where the money's coming from. So, yeah, if China says it. Problem is, we're a bunch of wusses. We're a bunch of cheeseburgers. That's what we are. Maybe we need to grow some wieners or a set of ding-dongs. Or whatever. I need a.
You just need manly men.
I need a food euphemism for balls. Anyway.
Too many beta males.
Cherries. I don't know. That doesn't sound very masculine. You know what does sound masculine is Kamala Harris trying to talk about broadband internet. Play that clip.
Unlike for some of us, the thing of Encyclopedia Britannica is a thing of a long time ago.
Years a long time ago.
And now the kids need to be online to help get their homework done.
Yeah, they do.
Broadband wire, why do we care about that? We're going to lay it across the country because we know that our seniors might need the benefit of telemedicine if it's too far to get to a hospital. Our small business owners need access to high-speed broadband to run those small businesses that are part of what fuels America's economy.
She doesn't even look like she believes what she's saying.
No.
She doesn't believe any of it.
When you consider the significance of the passage of time, these wires...
I think people should go back to reading the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, maybe
actually that's what we
maybe
really
get
need.
some books out. Learn how to flip through the pages and not use the internet to do your homework.
Get rid of TikTok and so you won't think that there's transgender people are 50% of the population.
We did that on the show a couple of weeks ago. I mean, if you ask people, the perception is that 20% of Americans are transgender.
It's so crazy.
It's less than 1%. Kamala's a moron, but I like it when she goes into her when she's like, she gets all cool, you know. Maybe these people need to understand something, like
so fake, so fake, so disingenuous.
Like she's on an episode of The Jeffersons or something.
Dude, and it's like that forced laugh. Her name is bad. B, she's gross, and she never can properly articulate herself ever without that weird cackling laugh.
Yeah,
she sucks.
Insecurity because she's stupid. I'll leave you with this final and great thought. CNN Plus floundering. That's their streaming service. Has fewer than 10,000 daily users, which reminds me, go to blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code MORECHAD to sign up, and let's keep kicking CNN's ass. Hang tight. We'll be right back. WatchChad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. I got some shows coming up. Going to be in Naples, Florida with our buddy Bobby Sausalito at Take Naps on Instagram. You watch him, you know he's funny. He's going to open for me there in Naples. But this month, just next week, 2 weeks actually, April 29th, going to be at Do-Si-Do in the Woodlands. Be my fifth appearance there. We're going to be doing it. And yes, it's an expensive ticket, but they give you dinner and dessert and all kind of stuff in there. It's a fun listening room. So get your tickets at WatchChad.com. Hey, guys, go sign up overtime. Go sign up. You use the promo code MORECHAD. It's only like $80, $85. I don't know, like $80 a year. What is it? It's worth every bit of it.
I agree.
BlazeTV.com/Chad, promo code MORECHAD. You talk about parallel economy. And don't forget to go get Dave Rubin's brand new book, Don't Burn This Country. And Lisa, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me again.
Love you so much. Overtime. We'll see you tomorrow on Overtime. Bye.